Okay, hello everyone. So, interesting times require different measures. So it's been, I think yesterday was the first time I taught a class where there was no one except the camera. Seems like it's become a habit to teach in front of the camera. So here I am again. And I somehow seem to attract cats. So there's a beautiful cat just walking along. Maybe you'll see him if you're lucky on camera at some point. So what are we doing today? I know most of you are stuck at home and you probably don't have access to props because whether we like it or not, we don't really develop that home practice. So what I'd like to do is share a short 30-minute practice which you can do at home. I also want to keep it safe so that if there are people who are perhaps a little limited in their movement, perhaps older people, then they can also do something with the help of a chair. And I've kept the chair simple. So if you notice, it's not an Iyengar chair. It could be any chair that you get at home. And if you don't have a chair, even say sitting on the edge of a sofa would be fine. But for now, I'm going to use the chair and we're going to run through a few poses. Okay, so as we start in a class, we're going to start with centering. So you're going to sit, and even how you sit matters. So place your feet even, hip distance apart, and hold the side edges of the chair because that's going to give you a better support. Lift up, take the outer shoulders back, slightly drop your chin, lift the center of the chest, and then let's bring the palms of the hand at the center of our heart. Okay, so we stay here. Close your eyes for a few moments, lowering your gaze down. And just as we begin, the feeling sense of your feet resting on the floor, your sitting bones on the chair. Take your outer shoulders back and lengthen the elbows. You're slightly gazing down towards your folded palms. And when we sit for a couple of seconds just like this, we are trying to bring our attention to the present moment, sending our awareness to just the simple sensations of our body. Touch of the feet, connection of the palms, and finally, the movement of your breath. So tune into yourself and see how the breath is moving. However it is fine. So as we practice today, we're going to set an intention to connect deeper into ourselves and also find the flexibility not in our body but in the way we practice, so that we are not limited by studios or by props, and that we too can be creative and play in different ways to find the same poses we've been practicing for a while. So with this intention, let's take a deep breath. And then complete exhalation. Now lower your head down. Release the hands. Place them back on your legs. Lift your head up and open your eyes. Okay, so we're going to start with a simple stretch, often Urdhva Hastasana. Extend your arms. Take your right thumb on top of your left. Interlace the hands tight. Turn the palms out. Keeping the shoulders pulling down. With an inhale, lift and stretch your arms up. Yeah, so as we stretch the arms up, we take our attention close to this armpit side, and as you elongate through the sides of the chest, return your head back so you're looking straight. Lift the spine. At the same time, press the feet firmly into the floor. Now, maintaining the lift of the spine, begin to turn your chest to the right side. So you're going to start to turn your chest to the right side. And usually when we turn to the right, what happens is the left hand sort of goes too far forward. I want you to keep your left arm back, but turn your left rib cage more. And when the elbow starts to bend like this, make an effort to straighten it. Turn the palms of your hand. Now come back to the center. Let's release the hands down for a moment. And there itself, whichever thumb is on top, simply change your grip. Okay, so again, stretching the arms out, shoulders pulling down. With an inhale, lift and stretch your arms up. Try your best, like right now my little finger is coming off the grip. I am really making an effort to keep it in. Spread through the palms of the hand, and then from here again, turning from the ribs, turning from the chest, maintaining this lift of the spine, turn towards your left. And as you turn towards your left, you want to still plant your feet, your heels firmly into the floor. Look straight, relax the shoulders, straighten your upper arms. Now come back to the center and take your hands down. Okay. So next, we're going to do a variation of Utkatasana. I'll show it in 2 ways, and we'll practice it in both ways. So let's first bring our feet together. Big toes connect, inner ankles connect. And then you're going to simply reach your arms up. And as you reach your arms up, you're focusing on this upper arm. And instead of keeping your shoulders like this, you're moving your shoulders down and you're rotating this upper arm. Yeah, so we move the shoulders down and we rotate the upper arms and straighten all the way to the fingertips. Now maintaining this, feet planted on the floor, let your body shift forward. Yeah, so you're letting your body go forward. You're not dropping your arms because this is so easy. You want to lift the arms and lift the sides of the chest. And whenever the shoulders come like this, pull the shoulders down, extend into the fingertips. Keep your head straight. If you find your shoulders rounding like this, back off a little bit and stretch up. But let's push it a little further. So press your feet and go forward, forward and stretch up. That's it. Hold it. And then from here, inhale and come back up. And then take your hands down. Okay. Now I'm going to turn the chair simply because then you can see this better, but you don't have to. Okay. So I'm simply turning the chair. And I'm going to repeat the pose again. So you're going to bring the big toes close, your inner ankles close. You're going to sit firm. Watch the position of the feet. The feet are directly underneath the knees so that it's not back like this, nor is it way forward. Yeah? So you're very clear on the position of the feet. And the hips are also kind of close to the edge of the chair. Repeating Utkatasana. So stretch your arms up. And you're going to press your heels, lift and lengthen the spine up. Again, the head remains in line with the ears. And then we're going to come forward. Yeah, so we come forward. And then we stretch up. Now you can keep this pose. And if you really want to try a little bit more, walk your feet slightly back. See if I walked a little bit back. And see if you can come up and maintain it. Yeah, so it's just a little lift. Don't throw your buttocks out and ribs forward. The buttocks draw in. The thighs draw back. The thighs go back into the hip socket and you lift up into the fingertips. Then, keeping the hips firm, slowly come back down. Okay? And take your hands down. Great. Now we're going to do a couple of standing poses. So often we do Trikonasana in class. So we're going to do Trikonasana with the help of a chair. So now if you were sitting facing, please turn your chair so you can put it on one edge of the mat and stand in a way with your feet together and step your legs out wide, the usual distance that you have, and keep your right foot slightly underneath the right seat of the chair. So you're going to turn your right leg completely out. So you've turned it. Take your attention to this thigh here, rotate it, and place your attention into that left thigh. Once you have that, let's stretch the arms, lengthening, moving from the root of the thigh, move this down, lengthen the torso, and place your hand on the chair. The advantage of using the chair is that if you drop this, you can really press and lengthen the lower side of the torso. This shoulder goes back. You apply some pressure on the chair to keep the length of your spine, and then let's reach the top arm up. Back leg strong. Now you can decide to work this a little bit more by stepping that left leg slightly further back. But what you don't want is to fall forward. You want the hips, the chest, and the head more or less in the same line. Keep your thighs very firm. Right hip moving forward. Right thigh pulling into the hip. Let's stay here. One more breath. Chest open. Stretch the arms. Great. Now from here to come out, you're going to bend your leg a little and step your legs. We're going to do it to the other side, so you can decide to move your chair. Movement is good, so go ahead and move your chair over to the other side. Same way, step your legs out wide. Turn your left leg out to 90, right foot slightly in. Same, thighs firm, chest open, stretch the arms with an inhale, and then with an exhalation, take your hands down. Apply some pressure on the hand because that rotation will start to revolve the chest. Focus on this side of the hip, that it's not back and falling. The hip is always the support of your spine. The right thigh also needs to work, and then you stretch your arm up. Same as before, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, step the right leg slightly back. You have to be firm on these thighs because otherwise you're going to be shaky. So tighten the thighs, draw the hips in, turn the chest and stretch the arm. One more breath. I'm sure you can stay here. Come on. Again, seemingly simple, but I'm sure you're feeling it somewhere. Now to come up, bring your hand down, bend your leg, step your legs, and come into standing. Next, we're going to do a kind of variation of Uttanasana. It's a pose where we fold forward, and you can use the chair too. Definitely advantage for people who are a bit stiffer. So we'll keep the chair here. I separate out my legs, however, the feet are parallel, and moving from the hip. So as I move the hips forward, I place the hands on the seat of the chair. Observe the back. There's a tendency of rounding in our body. So I bring the hands so they're directly underneath the shoulders. I press them, and from this connection, I try to pull the shoulder blades down and into the back. So I start to wake up this section of the back. Maintaining this, looking forward, since the chair is there, lengthen the torso. So wherever you reach is fine. If your elbows go down, you stay here. The work is Uttanasana, meaning there is a length of the spine. So let's not round and collapse and be like this, yes? It's a question of using the chair for advantage, but working your legs. Your thighs are firm. You're lengthening the torso. Now, if you are a little bit more open in the body, then go ahead and grab the legs of the chair, walk a little closer, and take the elbows out, elongating the torso. Maybe your forehead will rest and roll the shoulders away from the ears. To make the back of the legs work, if your buttocks are behind the heels, it doesn't work. So you shift forward till you feel your thighs really have to push back, and then you might even go down a little bit more. Pause for a few moments. Please observe that I'm keeping this part of my rib cage more free. So if that's not the case for you, go a little higher. Because the breath needs to flow freely in your diaphragm as you do this. 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Thighs firm, feet pressing firmly. And then from there, we're going to lift up, place our hands, and come up. Now come up. Now it's a question of how long you want to practice. So we have to sort of do it in a way that you can, take a little bit of time out in your day and at least do a few poses. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is just a variation of Parshvottanasana. So we can take the chair back to where it was. And you're going to do this. Step your legs out wide, big distance between your feet. And then from here, turn your right leg completely out. You have to turn your left thigh, your foot. Yeah, so turn the foot, the calf muscle, the hip. So you're more level on the hips. There's a tendency of this left hip to stay back. So roll the hips. In terms of position here, lift the pelvis. Keeping this, go forward, lengthening the torso. Once you have your hands on the chair, again you're lengthening, and then from there, extend the spine down. The belly turns to face your right thigh as you go down. You can stay on your elbows, you can stay just on your hands, depending on, of course, the hamstrings. Take a couple of breaths here. Now here there's one thing to work on. So whenever we stay in a pose, it's not like we just hang in there and do nothing. There's something to do even as we are waiting in the pose. The work is the right hip goes back, and yet the left thigh pushes back, and then that gives you more freedom in the spine. So roll the right hip back, left thigh back, and then release the head, the neck, and shoulders. Now to come up, lift your head up, bring your hands back on the seat of the chair. Let's try and see if you can use the strength of the legs if you need to. Otherwise, you can just come up as you wish. Press into the feet, bring your hands here, hover for a moment, and then come up. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. I'm going to turn around instead of moving or let's move the chair. I think that's probably better. So I can always look at you. So step your legs out wide again. And then from here, you're going to turn your back foot, turn the thigh, turn the hip, turn everything. So you've got this complete turning action. The back leg likes to collapse, so press the thigh back, draw the hip into the socket. And then same way, with an inhale, lengthen, go forward, forward, forward. Place your hands on the seat of the chair, and then revolve the spine, elongating as you go down. Same thing, you're focusing on this hip, which gets this sort of uneven. So you want to bring that hip back, roll this, keep the leg firm, and then go down to your depth as long as both legs remain straight. You can rest your head here. If you're tighter, you can rest your head like this. Yeah? And again, you have to listen to your body, not just... So it's a question of letting the head rest a little. So again, you have some variations. Do be strong on the legs. Now I'm about to come up. So same way, I'm going to try and see if I can press my legs firmly, hold my hips tight, inhale, and come up. Okay, great. So the next thing is we're going to do a simple seated twist. Again, very accessible to most of us if we have a chair. So the way I'm going to go about it is this way. So you have your chair, you're going to sit sideways. Okay, so you go sideways and you sit on the edge of the chair. Again, you position your feet in a way that's parallel to each other. And then you're going to take your attention, lift the spine up, take your hands and grab the back seat of the chair. So as you're in the pose, in fact, it's good that you're looking at my back because the work is a lot, because often we just turn our head like this, yeah? Keep your head where it is. Hold and start to take your mind here in the back rib and turn the back rib. Yeah, so we're turning the back rib. There's always a tendency to go back, so use the chair to become tall from the base of your spine. Draw the shoulders down. Smooth inhale and exhale. Again, this movement of the spine is very rare in our daily activity. So twists are very good to open up a stiffer back. Breathe in and breathe out. Now we're going to go to the other side. So simply swing around until you've gone to the other side. And then plant your feet. Lift the chest. Take the shoulders back. And then once more, you're going to turn, grab, lift the spine, press your feet firmly into the floor, and revolve the chest. Stay connected with the sitting bones as you lengthen. Smooth inhale, smooth exhale. Pulling the shoulders down, lifting up with the spine, moving that right rib cage forward, moving the left rib cage back. Now come back to the center and release. There's a simple sort of forward extension that you can also do as you're in this pose. Feet are apart, but we're going to first do a little twist here itself. Take your right hand and place it on your inner thigh. Yeah, so we already feel how the arm pushes into the thigh, but the thigh doesn't want to go anywhere, so you let the thigh come back here. Then from this position, we revolve the chest. Yeah, so I'm trying to keep this line from the belly to my head kind of neutral, and then depending on how that is, I go down. So the key thing to remember here is we don't go down and hunch, because then it defeats the purpose of lengthening the spine. We come to a point where we can feel that this leverage can help us to lift the spine. Then you're going to take the shoulder back, touch the center of your chest to activate your sternum, lift it up, and then stretch the arm as an extension of your chest. Yeah, because that's what it is. And then come back to the center. Let's do the other side. Take your left arm down, extend. Your arm is pushing into the thigh is pushing into the arm. You're coming to a point where you can lift up, and then from the center of the chest, you're turning, and just to get the arm to activate from the center, drop your hand to the center of the chest, lift up, and stretch the arm slowly as if it starts from here. And then the more you reach, the chest begins to open. Inhale and exhale. Remember to keep the arm and the leg in contact. And then come back to the center and relax. Okay, so the next thing is you can also do a pose in a seated position. So I'll return the chair back here. And you can sit in a simple cross leg. Now, supposing you find it very difficult to sit in a cross leg position, you can just put a cushion underneath your buttocks. Otherwise, you can sit facing the chair. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, again, help our spine. Say my spine is a little dropping. Yeah, most of us feel that. So you grab the legs of the chair, and as you firmly pull down, see if you can lift the chest up, yeah, creating this lift of the spine. And then maintaining the lift of the spine, you go forward, 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 and you can push your chair as much as you need and lengthen through the arms. So again, rather than rounding, you want to place your arms in a way so that you can lift the spine. Because all the tightness on the holding kind of stays in this thoracic chest. Yeah? So we get harder here, and then we excessively move from the lumbar spine, which often causes a lot of problems. So as we do the poses, we try to open this upper chest area. So as you stretch your arms, you make your arms firm, and you go back. And now slowly release. There's one more pose I must show you, which is easy to do, and it's a good thing to do anytime. A variation of downward facing dog. So you place your hands firmly on the chair. And if you find your arms are not very strong, you can also grip the sides of the chair. And then you step your legs back wide. So when you step your legs back wide, please keep your feet hip distance apart or even wider. The purpose is, as you press your hands, roll the upper arms, move the hips back. Yeah, because we are not trying to push into the chair like this. Our effort should be to actually push the chair, move the hip, move the buttocks, and then if your legs go more, go for moving the legs, and finally, as the buttocks lengthen, lower back lengthens, press your heels. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Move the dorsal spine in. Don't drop your head. Just keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. Keep pulling back. Legs firm, thighs tight. Now start to look forward, walk forward, and come up. Now we're going to do another variation of a slight lying down on the floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie down. I do have a mic, so it's kind of tricky a little bit, but so I'm going to make a little adjustment just to move the recorder so that I can be on my back. So bear with me as I do that, but you won't have that. Okay, so I lie back, and then I can actually bring myself a little bit closer to the chair. Now it's best that you place your chair on a sticky mat. And if you feel unsafe, get somebody else in your house to hold the chair. And if you feel you don't want to try the pose, don't do it. Yeah, so I'm giving you a disclaimer from the beginning. And your chair should be solid. So what you do is you come close, and then you move down, and then you press your heels. First you have to test and say, okay, can I press my heels? Okay, good. Then you roll the shoulders. Then as you press your heels, you start to lift up. If you can grab the legs of the chair, grip, and lift the buttocks up. Lifting upward, creating more length, more height. It can be a little variation of a shoulder stand. Notice I'm really making an effort to open the chest.
and press and lift the hips. Press your feet. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. If your hands don't reach the chair, don't worry. Just keep them here. You can interlace them. You can support your back. Though there are many variations. What's important is you press and you lift. Press and lift. Hold it for a few more breaths. And a little note, if you're menstruating, you're not going to do this pose. And now slowly come back down. And then here itself, you can just rest for a couple of breaths, letting your legs relax, arms relax. You can adjust yourself, move anything away. What's important when you let go here is to see your shoulders are relaxed and you are just on the side, relaxed arms, legs. And having the legs a little elevated is great in terms of our circulation. Also, it brings a sense of quietness. And even if you don't do the rest of the poses, just putting your legs up against the edge of a sofa or like against the edge of a couch is very grounding. And as you stay here, completely let go. Relax the fingertips. Relax the throat, the jaw. Let your legs be relaxed. Begin to sense the floor, the movement of your breath. Smooth inhale and smooth exhale. We just stay here for a minute longer. Small little tips which might help you to relax further is you can recognize if your chin is pointing up, and I don't need you to look. If you're listening, that's good enough. Just drop your chin downward towards your chest. Another pointer which makes our mind more active is if you find that your shoulders are lifting away from the floor, just let go of the shoulders into the floor. Relax your abdomen, your throat, your chest. 2 more breaths. Now slowly, you're going to start to come out. Begin to bend your knees one by one. You can just pull your knees in for a couple of breaths. And then you're going to roll a little bit to the side. Lie down in this way for a few seconds. And then press the hands into the floor and lift yourself up. And you can just take a moment just to sit. And thank you for joining. And hope to share more practice with you. And namaste.